Hi. Do I have a mic on? I don't even remember. Oh, it's right here. Test, test. Um, so this is the second part of advanced color theory class. We're gonna review last week's class, which you should watch that video first if you haven't watched it. It is an hour and a half long. We talk about hair anatomy, physiology. We talk about some chemistry, but it's an intro level, so it's just like sky high elementary understanding, and a lot of like picture painting as far as like parallels to understand what's happening inside the hair shaft at surface level, that kind of thing. So today we're going to be going over last week, and then we're going to be taking that science down a little bit deeper. So I'm trying to see if Amarisa has put together I gave her some information because we're going to go through a review together. A review together of last week. This is my third string cheese. You guys, I just realized though I'm not eating enough protein still, so here we are. And a Red Bull, duh. I'm gonna get an iPad so I can get Amarisa. I know.
Don't tell me you've seen it if you haven't seen it.
Well,
I watch it all the time.
dude, I feel like there was a good 5 years of my life, a decade ago, that I would watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Not anymore though.
I usually have it on for background noise. But
For background noise?
yeah, just like when I just have the TV on.
But what's going on? Why are your little hairs sticking straight out like that? I don't understand.
Okay.
How is this happening?
They've been like that my entire life. They've never grown.
We could get Amarisa on one of these.
Yeah.
And she can just roll
No,
around.
but in the episode,
Okay.
Phil controls it, and he is able to go wherever he wants, and then he's like, "Oh no, stairs, stairs." And then he goes.
Have you seen South Park?
Not enough to be.
Because they did it in that one too. That one was
I promise we're gonna get started.
The only one I can
We're waiting for Amarisa.
quote is, "Oh, you shook my ball, Mrs. Only thing I know about it. Like I watch it, but not like that. What? I don't know what this would be considered. Material?
Okay. Let's talk about last week. Oh, I have notes. I have notes for each of you. Let's project this onto. Do you want a Red Bull? I have a Red Bull for you here. That's really what you text me. Oh, hi, Amarisa.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Oh, so everybody say, good morning, Amarisa. See, she's a real person, and they are real stylists that really work here. I get to talk to her every day, but you guys don't.
She posted or liked something or did something at 2 a.m. and I said, "Girl, what time is it?"
I know. I honestly wonder, Amarisa, do you sleep? No.
What is that word?
What is that word? I've never heard. Can you explain what is that? Because she's got a baby at home too. Well, can you use it in a sentence?
When you guys are sleeping, not sleeping at that time, but it's just that there are some hours that I'm awake because of my baby.
Because baby, and it's normal time there when we're sleeping.
Uh-huh.
What is she? 6 months? 7 months? 8 months?
8 months.
8 months, because she was 6 months when we started working together. It's been that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my heart just started beating real fast. Maybe it was the Red Bull. I don't know. Here, let's get you guys this review sheet. Can someone text Vix?
Yeah, this,
I did text Fix. I have no response. We'll see.
Can we all text Vix?
yeah.
If you have her phone number, will you text her?
She's still at home.
Oh my gosh, is she coming?
Her location.
Oh, you have her location. She's probably asleep.
Probably.
Vix, we love you. But there's nothing more important than your career, girl. I'm telling you. Except for self-love and health and family. There's those things.
A little bit of rest.
Yeah, some rest. Okay. Advanced hair color theory. I am going to share this with you guys right now.
I feel like.
Okay, guys. Anybody, you guys have to be signed into your salon email, but what is that? Oh, is that the form, Amariza? Oh my gosh, she made it. Wow. Okay, we're going to go over the form in a little bit, not right now, ladies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad they have it though. I'm glad they have it. Okay. So the advanced hair color theory SOP. Do you guys know what SOP stands for?
Standard operating procedure.
Sweet.
asked
I
question
love
like
that.
18 times.
Yay. Can somebody tell me if anybody's mad at my reel yet? I'm hoping so. Is anyone mad yet?
If I'm going to
I didn't see
be
any
honest
hits on
with you,
Facebook.
you've got only 2 comments, one being me.
Oh, who's the other comment?
Someone's supporting your extension.
Oh.
One of your clients.
Where are all the angry people at? We need this reel to pop off, please.
Kristen Day
Aww. Love herbs. Okay, you guys, let's screencast this.
Is her hologram still?
So disruptive.
To the church.
Did that do the job? Almost.
Also, I cut a corner yesterday, and I did really good, and it was a big one.
And did it scare you a little bit? And you did it anyways?
Yep.
But you did it, and it so worked, huh? Well, too far.
But can we get like a class or like just a section on a class on current things?
You guys, we have literally 3 hours a week together.
Okay, then like
In my heart, I want to teach you everything.
a lesson on another day.
I want to teach you everything because I know that you want to learn. And I'm specifically talking to you. I know everybody wants to learn, but you are constantly down my throat asking to learn more things. And it's great. It's why you have more responsibility and your clients love you. So we only have 3 hours a week. So I'm doing the best I can, getting you guys everything that you need to be competent and confident. Okay. So advanced hair color theory. Where do we start? Do you guys have any reflections from last week? Did anybody get to review the video? Did anybody take time to do that? I mean, not that you'd have to, but it's another hour and a half. No one reviewed the video? You guys, how are you going to expect to learn and understand and maintain? Can somebody give me any revelations that they had from last week? Anything that they were like, oh, that messed me up. Like, I'm so glad I learned that. I didn't know.
The permanent hair color with the thin hair.
Ah, yeah. That's why we get red and orange tones a lot. Every time you get a client sitting in your chair and they're like, I pull warm. Every time they put roots on me, it turns orange. It's because you have baby fine hair and they're using a permanent. 100% guarantee, without a doubt. I will tell you that's why. So there are extenuating circumstances if somebody has medium texture, thick fabric hair. It could be a medication thing. It could be pH balance. It could be chemistry at the scalp, but that is less than 1% of cases. So if you were going to shoot in the dark and be like, oh, it's probably because you have a finer fabric and they used a permanent color on you and you didn't get enough color deposition inside of that hair. So let's turn it this way, actually. Let's do that. Oh, much better. Is that better? Yeah. Okay, hair color theory, you guys. The purpose is to provide a clear standard of understanding and understanding advanced hair color theory, including hair structure, hair color formulation, and proper use of color types to achieve consistent high quality results. This is like probably my favorite thing in owning a salon is the fact that I can actually quality control work. Like, I love it. I love the fact that we can have a standard in which we can perform to and hold each other accountable to. So when we continue to expand and when we open to multiple locations that y'all are in charge of, we all will know the standard as far as how we should be performing and what the expectancy level of knowledge is within the artisan whatever brand or whatever, the conglomerate that we're working with. I love it. I love it. And all I want to do is work around other hair nerds. Can I get your guys' agreement to that? Yeah, can I get an amen? I just want somebody who next to me is as geeky and loves knowledge about hair and making people happy and delivering results as much as I do. So I think that's the right type of people to be around. Scope. What does this cover? Well, this SOP applies to all trainee professional hairstylists performing hair coloring services, including consultation, formulation, application, and corrective processes. This is anybody working in the salon. This is who this applies to. And so now that we have this document, this is the hair color theory standard of expectancy that we, is a standard in which we will perform to. So let's talk about some of the core principles that we covered last week. Understanding the hair structure and the anatomy of the hair shaft. A solid understanding of the hair anatomy is essential for predicting hair color behavior and achieving accurate results, correct? Meaning we have to understand the hair type and the hair health before we can choose the correct paint for that type of canvas, yes? Yeah. So, layers of the hair. Can someone tell me what the medulla is?
The innermost part.
Okay, Brittany, louder. Let's go.
The innermost part of the hair shaft.
And it is what? The most what?
Coarse. Most dense.
Most dense.
That's what I said.
And it's not present in...
Fine hair.
That's right. And it's more common in...
Coarse hair.
Beautiful. The cortex. Does everyone have a cortex? Yes. If the hair is attached to the head, there's a cortex. And this is located beneath what? Cuticle. All right. And this is primarily where hair color lives, correct? Okay. This also determines what about the hair?
Strength, elasticity, and color retention.
Beautiful. The K layer, keratin lipid layer. So I also did some research for you guys because I know this K layer thing is something that specifically I've learned through our Alpha Parf and then was able to verify with other educators and other brands that this is something they're recognizing as well. But as far as ChatGPT is concerned, ChatGPT thinks it's called the cell membrane complex, which actually really makes a lot of sense to me. A membrane, do you guys know what membrane is? It's kind of like, if you were going to talk about membrane, you're kind of like the lining of the inside of your mouth. And membrane is kind of like an ambiguous tissue type that just keeps things inside, right? It's soft, it's pliable, it's has a very manipulative texture type. Usually that is the cell membrane complex, right? Which would totally make sense when we're talking about the keratin lipid layer because it's just recently being recognized, and it is one of those things that brands are like, we're not really sure what this is, but we know that it makes a role in hair health and retaining color and all that. And if it's healthy, it works great, and if it's not healthy, then we have issues, right? So the cell membrane complex, also the keratin lipid layer, and this is located where?
Between the cortex and the cuticle.
Yes, you guys, all we got to do is read the screen. Can you guys see it?
Wait, so is the Kaler, if it's cell membrane complex, technically like the tissue of the hair?
Yeah.
Because
Uh-huh.
That's why it's so easily damaged.
Yes, it is this. It would be the soft tissue of the hair, and the cuticle would be like the skin cells on top of it or something. You know what I mean? Kind of like that idea. If we're thinking in picture parallels or parables of for educational purposes to learn something, that's what it would we could relate it to. The K layer is responsible for hair health and
Elasticity.
yes. It's also responsible for
Color retention efficiency.
and the last one.
Moisture balance.
Yay. Okay, so do you guys remember we were talking about the shampoo series that Alpha Parf has as far as reconstructing the hair? The first most important structure we were talking about rungs on the ladder. Do you remember the framework, the structural rigidity, having a ladder with horizontal and lateral bars to be able to climb on top of it? That is this. What is that?
Keratin.
Yep.
Structure.
That's the keratin structure. Yeah. So that's number one when we're repairing the hair. Number two, then we would address,
Lipids.
which is,
Clothing.
yes, and that lives
In the membrane.
in the membrane or we call it
Lipid.
K layer. Yes, keratin lipid layer. Yep. You see that. Keratin lipid layer, lipids clumping. Yes. And then, that's a typo. That shouldn't say hydrogen. That should say, can I edit this right here? I misspoke and I was using the word hydrogen because it's like hydrogen molecules, but it's not necessarily hydrogen because hydrogen is also unanimous with developer. So it's moisture, which equates to hydration, right? So that would be the third step. So it's, okay, we're good here. How do we get rid of this now? Done. Okay, done. Go away. Okay, what am I doing wrong? How do I unbe not? There we go. Okay. Okay, so in steps for a healthy K layer, it would require keratin, lipids, and moisture, right? So then on top of that is the cuticle. We're all very familiar with the cuticle. That expands and contracts, especially as the K layer expands and contracts with keratin, lipids, and moisture, right? So and that's affected by the condition of the K layer. If the K layer is depleted, dehydrated, missing its keratin structure, it actually shrinks, which pulls those cuticles from the laying flat position into the eject out upright position, which is why our cuticle starts getting tangly, why it starts splitting up the hair shaft, right? Those are little fingers that should be laying down. When that K layer shrinks, they kind of open up like this, and then they start sticking to each other. So, especially with clients that are like, I have the tangliest hair in the whole world, and they have like a fine fabric, they already have a smaller K layer, right? It's not as thick, and it doesn't have as much radius as somebody with coarse hair, but most likely they're lacking something, moisture, lipids, hydration, something like that. Hair condition and its impact, right? The K layer is better for color retention and smoother results. The damaged K layer is poor retention, dryness, and uneven color, and highly porous hair may overabsorb color and fail to retain it properly. This is very, very important you guys understand why overly porous hair leads to uneven color deposition. Right? If we're talking about those covalent bonds that go into those dye precursors or those molecules that go into the hair shaft, they collect and make covalent bonds and get bigger. Ideally, a healthy cuticle will keep them inside, but if it's porous and there's a lot of gates open or a lot of doors and windows open, those color molecules slip right out, which is why Brittany and I will look at somebody's ends and be like, she wouldn't hold a low light to save her life. Like, it wouldn't happen. So very important that you understand that permanent hair color has a really, really hard time staying inside of overly porous hair. I tend to use a demi, or you could even err to the point of semi, but I tend to choose a demi with overly porous hair because I will get more of a coating on an external surface area, even with that porous hair. And then you guys, we were talking about we were talking about semis, so direct dyes, and how with a porous hair shaft, those semis, because they're a larger color molecule, can get deeper into the hair shaft and they kind of get locked in there. And then we're like, her hair is so porous and it will not reject the large color molecule of a semi, right? So it stays in there forever, right? You see those like leftover mint greens or pinks or whatever on vivid hair color, that it's not coming out. I also have a solution for you guys on how to remove semi-permanent hair color that I don't think most of you have ever explored with or understand why, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so here's our repair sequence. We just talked about that. Permanent hair color. The biggest differentiating factor of permanent hair color is what? It contains ammonia, and it is capable of lifting. Which differentiates it from a demi-permanent hair color, right? So ammonia, the responsibility of ammonia is to plump the hair shaft and start creating an environment for that melanin exchange, okay? Pulling melanin, creating that exchange. Permanent hair color penetrates deepest into the cortex, best for gray coverage, make major color changes. Notice that it didn't even say like color deposit. Like it's really, honestly, I don't feel like, if we're talking about just pure color deposit, I don't even feel like permanent is the go-to. Although it does deposit and retain best medium to thick density hair, right? Demi-permanent color has what? No ammonia. This is a
Deposit only.
yes, and it sits a little bit higher on the cuticle on the outer layer. It's best for
Toning, blending, gray, and enhancing natural coverage.
okay, I'm going to challenge this one though, because Alpha Parf specific covers gray beautifully. Demi covers gray beautifully with Alpha Parf. There is no gray blending. You can gray blend with it, but this is my favorite on fine fabric hair who's like, I always turn warm, but I need gray coverage. Then I'm going to use a demi on you. Okay. Semi-permanent color, we know no ammonia, deposit only, sits on or near the cuticle, uses lipid-based formulas to adhere. Do you guys remember this? We're like jogging memories, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tonal value and decimal system. Again, right, we have the first number, which is the level or depth. The second number, 50% dominant tone. Third number, I don't know why that says point. That needs to not be point. That needs to be...
That's why, because look, it's telling you which one.
There we go.
Oh.
It needs to be, right, 8.23. So 30% secondary tone is gold. The remaining 20% would be neutral. Same if we had just one decimal, it's 50% dominant tone, and then the remaining is 50% neutral tone. If we have if it's just a 5, then in Alpha Parf it's a cool natural. Or if it says 5 NB, it's a natural Bahia, but it's all natural tone. There's no dominant tonal value. And when you guys are ready, we'll talk about the mixing ratios of red, blue, and yellow, and how it's different between the cool natural, the natural Bahia, the natural intensity, and then the cover reds, how those work and why. Because those are like almost all red. Okay. So we know this. Toning principles. Toning in theory is not intended to lift or darken. In theory, we can darken with tone, but it is a lateral shift in tone, right? Neutralizing or enhancing. That is like when we talk about toning, if she's like, well, she's a 9, I need to take her down to a 7. That's not necessarily toning. Now we're talking about deposit. Like we need to choose a color that's going to give her that retention for that level change, that level deposition, right? So, but if we want to neutralize or enhance, usually that's what we're talking about in tone. I do want to bring up something different here. If we're neutralizing or enhancing tones, if we want to enhance tones, let's talk just about enhancing. Let's say if we want to enhance a gold tone or enhance an ash tone. Stay with me here, okay? A level 7 gold is going to reflect the same amount of light as a level 9 ash. That's why when we put a 9A or a 9 ash on somebody and they're like, if we put a 9A or 9 ash on somebody and they're like, it looks so dark. Or if you put like a 7 gold on somebody, right? And you compare, if you turn that black and white on your phone and you compare the levels, they're gonna look so similar, right? And oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much to learn. I'm such a nerd. This is where we talk about ratios, color molecule ratios. We're talking about advanced color theory where 1 blue equals 3 gold or 1 blue equals 2 red if we're talking about level value. So then we're talking about algebraic equations on how to custom mix and make colors, right? Green is not 1 blue, 1 yellow. Green is 1 blue, 3 yellow. What? Brittany's like, yes. Yes. Blue-green, if we were going to make a blue-green, it's 1 blue, 1 yellow. But if we're going to make green, it's 1 blue, 3 yellow. Are you guys tracking with me? Am I making any sense here? Is it now, did you guys know this, or is it kind of unlocking a new thought process for you?
I mean, it makes sense because the blue is going to overpower the yellow 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
In order to get more of, or less blue, you would have to add more yellow.
Uh-huh.
Ever done any type of art class?
Yes.
Like ever in your life?
You're like, oh, yes.
I took a lot of art.
That's actual, if we're talking just specifically color theory and not hair colorist theory, that's color theory, right? We're talking right now, it's hair colorist, advanced hair colors theory. So what would the formula for orange then, if we're talking ratios? What is orange? Don't say it, Brittany. I don't want to hear from you. So is it 1 red, 1 yellow?
No, I'm just saying it's those two colors.
Is it 1 red and 2 yellows? Because you have to think, if we're talking in levels of deposition and intensity, our basis for fundamental knowledge, so moving forward, our key code, our unlock code, our whatever scorecard is always going to be 3 yellow, 2 red, 1 blue. That is the value of 1 in relationship to each other. Are we good there? Okay, we'll come back to that another day, but I just wanted you guys to understand. Are you doing well, Holland? Yeah. What are you thinking so far, my love?
I'm just trying to pay attention.
Yes. We'll keep doing this. We'll talk about the value of ratios another geeky day. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this stuff so much. Okay, sorry. Okay, so functions of toning, enhancing. We were just talking about enhancing. So like, for example, a 9A is going to reflect in the same depth and intensity as like a 7G. And that's why, right? A 9G is going to look so much brighter and lighter and airier than a 9A. Yeah? Okay, we'll move forward on toning principles. Color behavior, right? We talked about permanent goes the deepest. Demi is more outer, in the outer cortex into the K layer, and the semi is the cuticle surface, sometimes into the K layer, or cortex, depending on how porous it is. The porosity impact, yeah, that leads us into our next point. The porosity impacts the deposition. High porosity is an overabsorption of semis and demis. Looks darker with a demi deposit, right? So if we have a really open cuticle, if we have a lot of windows and doors for those color molecules to go in, and we put a demi on them, and we deposit a 5 on very, very porous hair with a demi, which is deposit only, sometimes it's going to look like a 3. Oh shit, that just turned black.
But only a 3 for like
a day and a half.
yeah. Until you wash it.
Yeah, exactly. For like a day and a half, for like 3 washes.
Yeah.
So, but that's when like you're like, you put a cool 5 on and they're like, you just made me black. I'm like, your hair so dry? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Let's get you on some good shampoo. How about that? No, but it's our job to understand and be able to predict why and how and what to do in order to prevent. This is why pre-color care or prepping canvas is one of those theories that I will stand on. I will die on that hill. I will die on prepping the canvas, and anybody can come at me. I don't care. Like, I will prep the canvas until the day I die, because this has so much to do with removing unwanted or unnecessary hair color molecule, or addressing the porosity, the elasticity in the hair, really understanding the condition of your fabric before you choose your color choice. I'm not just going to put a 5 demi on very, very porous hair and be like shocked, be like, I don't know why it looks like a 2. I don't know why it looks black to my client, right? I could have easily prepped the hair. I could have done a vitamin C detox to remove any mineral hard water deposit to open that cuticle up. Then I could have taken a bond builder, like one that the biomimetic keratin that Alpha Parf has. I could inject some keratin to create the structural rigidity, the rungs on the ladders, get those things going. And then I could have done a really good moisture mask on her. On top of that, add in those lipid fats, add in that hydration that's desperately needed. And then if I would have done the demi after that, the Cool 5 deposited onto fine fabric, dry porous hair, it's gonna look like a 5, and it's gonna retain so much longer. Okay, so like if you're in the salon and I teach you, hey, we're gonna vitamin C, that's even like, sometimes I even feel like that's the shortcut. Sometimes I'm like, we should be doing the bond builder, then we should be doing the hydration mask, then we should be doing the color if we really want some accuracy here. But more often than not, if you're in my salon and I'm teaching you these things, clients are gonna be like, I've never had a stylist do this stuff before. Yes, I know. Either they don't want to or they don't know how. That's the bottom line. They either don't want to because they're on a time crunch and they didn't properly book enough time or do a proper consult with you, or they don't think that you're willing to pay for the additional expense. They don't want to, or they don't know how. No one's ever taught them. And they're left scratching their heads as to like, I don't know why it deposited so dark when I'm done, and I don't know how to get accurate results with my clients. You guys, I used to be that hairstylist. I used to be the hairstylist literally in 2018. I remember being like, I want to fucking quit my job. I am praying to the hair gods every single time I do hair, and I couldn't figure out why. I was supposedly educated. I was an educator at Paul Mitchell for years. I had already spent thousands of dollars in additional education. I had already taken a master colors course through Pravana. Like, I'm like, well, I don't understand why I'm still guessing. Okay, I didn't know, but this is the stuff, the pre-prep of the canvas, understanding the anatomy, physiology, and the chemistry. So that's one of the things that makes us different, and this is how it makes you different as a stylist, and getting accuracy so you can charge the prices that you want to charge and make your clients happy. Sorry, rant over. All right, low porosity. So low porosity, what does that mean?
It's not like the cuticle is not as open, where it won't like take in.
Yes, yes, yes.
You get what I mean, though?
Keep going. No, try to talk it out. What is low porosity? Give me an example of low porosity hair. What is the number one, like, when I think of low porosity hair?
I'm thinking very shiny hair, very like,
Compact cuticle.
yeah, coarse.
Very coarse.
I don't know.
Yes, very coarse, very tight and compact.
Healthy hair.
Beyond even. Gray hair is low porosity hair. That cuticle is so shrunk, it's so tight, it's so collapsed on itself, has so much protein on the inside of the hair shaft compared to any other normal hair on the head that has not become gray. You look at them under the microscope, same client, gray is going to be so much more dense and so much more low porous. That's why if you try to put a direct or a semi on top of healthy hair without a rough cuticle virgin, a lot of times it slips right out, right? Or if you try to put, when we deposit onto gray hair, even with permanent sometimes, it's so resistant. Why is that? It's because it's low porous hair, low porosity. Chemical processes, we talked about covalent bonds. What is the analogy that we use for covalent bonds? We talked about
Mosquito going in and turning into a housefly.
Yes, we talked about screens on the windows, right? Like a screen. That's your cuticle. A mosquito can fly in, but if it turns into a housefly, it's stuck. It cannot get back out. That's what covalent bonds do. They find each other. Those electrons link up. The hydrogen makes them move real fast. So the faster they're spinning, the more that they can find each other, right? That process is called, and this is not something that I told you guys last week, I forgot to review it. It's called polymerization. Polymerization. Do you guys know what a polymer is?
No.
It's two things that make one thing, right? And now they become inseparable. Like when we mix acrylic to make nails, right? Because we're combining those polymers together to make a thing that is now inseparable, right? So we can liquefy those polymers, right, with acetone, things like that, and break them apart, and those bonds, those electrons start letting go of one another, and they start like detaching, right? But the problem with doing that in hair, why hair color removal is so hard, is because how do you do that depolymerization process without absolutely destroying the keratin fabric of the hair? How do you do that? It's so much more difficult. That's why we have steps and processes to remove artificial hair color, okay? You guys better remember something, at least one sentence from each of these weeks that you can repeat to your guests to be like, for your guests to be like, oh my God, they're so smart. Yeah, I just used the word polymerization, girl. Like what? Like tip me extra now. No, just kidding. But that's part of building credibility behind the chair, right? Role of developer provides oxygen. I just said that. It makes those electrons move really fast. And the role of the ammonia is to plump the hair shaft, raise that pH, and when that pH raises, we can start doing that melanin exchange. We can start bringing that melanin out of the hair, creating more room for those artificial color molecules to go into the hair, right? Once that melanin's out of the hair, it's gone. You're never getting natural color back into the hair, right? So that is the levels of lift, the dominant tones and levels of lift, right? We go from red all the way up to banana yellow, right? That's the melanin exchange process. Cyst and melanin breakdown. Color removal methods, right? I don't really need to get too much into this. We talked about breaking down covalent bonds. Okay, this is the last thing I want to talk about, and I want to blow your guys' minds real quick, and then we're going to move on, I promise. I just really want to make sure you guys have this fundamental understanding of information, because once you do, we can speak in a new language together, right? And your learning curve is going to go like this, and once you know this language, it's like this. And all of a sudden, you're a master colorist talking to other master colorists on a level that they are like, this chick knows what she's talking about. I was just telling in front of Holland, I think, with your mom. Allie, were you there too? No, it was Vix. It was Vix. How, because my super smart, specially gifted brain, special interest is hair, and I know nothing about anything else really. I would hear these things and I'd lock onto them, and my brain would think about it, and I'd turn them over and over again, which you guys have the same capacity to learn that information too, through repetition and re-exposure, right, and accountability. Y'all can be just as equivalent as I am. But I would go places, I would go to other salons, I would go to hair shows, I would go into classes, and I would always have some kind of articulate question because I'm trying to figure this out, right? Those artists, and we're talking world-renowned artists, Laura Young, again, I'm going to brag about her. She's Marilyn Monroe's hairstylist mentee.
Oh, the one that did a class for us?
Yes. She's one of the top colorists in the world. You go there, you start talking to them, and they're like, this colorist brain works differently. Like, they are one of us. They understand things to a different level, and there's no reason why you can't understand that. There's no reason why you shouldn't own that knowledge and be at that level. Right? It opens up doors and opportunities for you and builds credibility with your clients that money cannot buy. So remember. Okay, this is what my last bonus tidbit for you guys. You guys, what happens? Here's a theoretical question. Oh, let's do theory questions. You want to do a theoretical question? what happens when we have a semi-permanent red, blue, and we're depositing onto a level 10 that's been pre-lightened and then maybe even lightened again to shift the color, and now it's super, super dry and super porous, right? So already we know the windows and doors are wide open, and we're putting a lipid fat-based non-oxidative color on top of it. What's going to happen in that hair shaft? Someone tell me in their best words, what's going to happen?
It's going to suck it all the way up
Why?
because of because pretty much the screen is wider now, so the housefly, not the housefly, the screen is wider now.
Yeah.
And
The color.
it's easier for the color to go all the way through, and it's gonna be way, 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 way harder, almost impossible to get out.
Why?
Because
The lipid fat.
Woo! The lipid fats! Yes. Why? Because your hair's thirsty AF, right? And it wants lipid fats, especially if the screen door is wide ass open, right? Okay. So, what happens when we can't get it out?
you have to end up cutting it. Real life, you end up, in order to get it fully out, it's pretty much you're gonna have to cut it.
Well,
That's what
do
said
you?
last week.
Well, okay, this is a bonus question. Okay, so if the screen is this wide and the color molecule is this wide and it goes in the house and it goes really, really deep into the house, right? And let's just say it gets itself lodged in between those rungs of the ladder, so the proteins, it's inside of that ladder. Now it's trapped in there. What can we do in theory to make this space open up and allow those molecules to come back out? Do we know what chemical we can add to the hair? Oh, shit. Seriously, you just said that? How did you think of that? Ammonia.
Because if you can't add lightener, lightener's gonna damage it.
All lightener's going to do is break the proteins down, and it's going to start pulling that melanin out.
Oh, so it is lightener?
No.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's ammonia.
Yeah,
Yes.
because ammonia gets all the way to the cortex.
Ammonia is going to open and plump the hair cuticle, but it's not going to eat the proteins. It's not going to necessarily eat the melanin proteins. It assists in the melanin exchange, but it is not the thing that eats the melanin, right?
Bro, I'm
So,
trying to be smart.
what?
I'm trying to be smart. Just fuck it up.
I can hold her. I can hold her while I teach. Unless she's hungry, I can't do that. Can't do that for
I
her.
know, but I did get my.
So
I did get my pump so I can start.
if in theory we have a direct dye that's very, very stubborn and it's all the way in the hair shaft and it's not necessarily even, it's just because it's got itself lodged deep into the rungs of that ladder, our objective would be to open up that ladder, open up the windows even bigger and allow space for that to come out. Okay, so once the ladder is open or the windows are open and it has a place to come out, how do we actually get it to push out? Not maybe manual manipulation, and that's where something like a DDL even will help too, or a CPR, but have you guys ever used Clear? You're just gonna say
Maybe a clear with developer.
Yes.
Pull that out.
Yes.
It's an ammoniated product, but there's no direct deposit from the color.
Yes.
Then the clear would end up pulling it out.
Yes.
Wow, that
Yes.
was gonna be my question. I was gonna ask, how would you
Actually get that,
apply
motivate.
straight to it without?
Yeah, how would you motivate that color to actually move out?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
You're taking an artificial color molecule, and it may be clear, mind you, but it's still a molecule. It's still a dye precursor. It's something that wants to become dye, hair dye, right? There's still a covalent bond process that happens with clear, goes into the hair shaft, makes itself bigger, right? You can use an ammoniated product to open up the hair shaft, get that color molecule, clear, so be it, to go in, start the covalent process where they start attaching and they start ejecting those larger balloons or balls of color out the windows, right? because now the covalent bond process is like, I got little tiny marbles going inside the gaps of the balloons, and those little tiny marbles now are like boop, 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 and then they start making themselves bigger, 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 bigger. And what happens at that point? Those balloons that were taking up all that space, they end up getting pushed out the windows. They get pushed out of the hair shaft, right?
Okay, so that would happen just as it's processing, like you wouldn't have to do CPR after?
No, you don't.
Interesting.
But here's the thing. That process truly only works one time. That's the problem, right? If you push it out and then you put another like direct dye on top of it, and then the next session they come back and you still have the same process or problem, most likely if you already use the clear trick, it might not work. I use the clear trick with somebody who's like, I'm sick of being, candy cane red, and I want to go back to a natural. I'm like, okay, there are some legitimate steps and processes. I usually start from the outer cortex or outer cuticle and work my way in, which includes a vitamin C, right? So that removes minerals, which is just a safety factor. Then I go to a CPR, which is like inner cortex kind of stuff, trying to remove artificial color molecule, or even you can exchange that with a DDL, direct dye lifter, right? And then after that, if we're still having issues and I don't want to go straight into bleach or deteriorating the keratin in the hair, eating away at those proteins, then I'll go to the clear permanent, okay? It depends on where it's living in the hair shaft. You can even use a clear demi. If you feel like, this is where you got to really use your thinking caps. If the semi is living more externally instead of all the way internally, you can even use a demi to create that molecule exchange process. There have been times that I have done the vitamin C, I've done the DDL, which is a direct dye lifter. I've had residual like mint green left. And what I've done is I'm like, okay, her hair is in pretty good condition, relatively. I don't believe that she's blown out and that this mint green is all the way to the inside, because I can still see yellow at the inner cortex. I can still see some like melanin inside of there. And I'm like, if there's melanin inside there, there's a medulla in there, there's some healthy cortex in there. I'm like, most likely this mint green is probably living outer cortex. I'm like, I could get a demi, and not only can I push some of that color molecule out, but I can neutralize it at the same time. So if I have a mint green, what I'm gonna mix up is a pink. And I'm gonna use a pink clear, like a pink gloss demi or a pink colorware. And it is literally not only going to exchange, but anything that it doesn't exchange is going to neutralize as well. And so that's how we talk about like advanced color correction, right? So this, you guys understand this fundamental knowledge that I'm giving you literally tees you up to do these very hard processes of like, I need to use my smart brain to make the right choice right now, right? Brittany and I can easily charge $1,000 for a color correction because we know we're going to nail it. It might take all day. Do we really want to do it all day? No, we don't. But if they need it and we're confident we know nobody else is going to deliver those results, we start using these processes of like, okay, I can see where this hair color lives. I'm taking into account the fabric, the condition. I can kind of see some melanin in the hair shaft. I know how far I can push it. I know if it was a semi or a demi or a permanent that was used in her previous, because I did a consult with her. Sometimes I don't know if it's a demi or a permanent. Like, these are just things that we have to account for, but this is how you start making those color correction moves. If you go to a class and they're going to try to certify you to be a master colorist, and their only approach for a color correction is to pre-lighten the hair and eat the shit out of the rest of the keratin and then deposit, that's not a color correction. Yes, you're correcting color because you're moving it from, you're not just moving it laterally, you're not just depositing, and you're not just lifting virgin hair. Yes, it's a color correction, but that is one option, one avenue. There are so many other tools in your toolkit that you have to understand so you can make these choices, right? So we can talk these choices out with you, but it's fundamental that you understand them before you do. Because we don't want to talk another language. We want to talk Chinese to you if you're like, whoa, I don't know any of these words, right? Okay, so best practices. The first thing we're going to do is assess.
Hair texture.
Yes. Fine, medium, coarse. Then we're going to assess,
Hair condition.
yes, healthy versus damage. And then we're going to assess porosity. Yes, so how much is it going to absorb, right? We're going to match the color type to the desired result, hair condition, level of lift required, right? So these are things that we have to take into consideration. And then the best practices, of course, using color matching swatches, identifying tones visually, right? It was one of those, well, how do I know what color she is? Well, take the book and take the picture. You know, find the swatch that comes closest to it. And then repetition to build accuracy. How do we just get from point A to point B? That's it, okay? You guys have a team. You have smart brains. One of us will always, like in working hours, one of us could always be accessible to you via chat, even FaceTime. I was at Disneyland once, FaceTiming, better color correction. I don't mind. I enjoy it. I love this stuff. And then your key performance standard. Beginners, we want you to at least get to an 80% accuracy consistently every single time. There's no reason you shouldn't do this with tool set that we've given you, the access to color that you have, the access to mentors that you have, right? Advanced stylist, 95 to 98% accuracy. Allie, I would say that color that you did yesterday was at least 95% accuracy, if not 98 to 100. Like there was one thing that I noticed. I'm not even going to bring it up to you because I don't want to give you complex. It's literally, I would have given you an A++. I would have given you an A++ yesterday. Like you followed direction exactly to a T. We formulated together. You did exactly step by step everything that you were taught to do. I didn't even have to go over the application method with you. You remembered it, right? And it's like you knocked it out of the park. She was so happy. You did great. So like,
What was the thing?
oh my God.
It's gonna bug me now.
Okay, so there was one spot
Yes.
that was overfoiled, and it wasn't towards the fringe, it was right here. And it stuck out more, and that was just a pickup thing. That was like you just picked up too much in this condensed area, and so it made it stand out a little bit more.
I don't know why I think that happened. Not to like use it as a cop out. That was my first time ever doing color in between foils with
a foil technique like that.
Process and the root first. So like I was finding it kind of more difficult to like
pick up
the way that I usually would.
Can I give you some feedback because I was watching you pick up?
Yeah.
You pull your section, roots here, ends are here, but you're like mid here, right? So here's the width of the section. Here's the width of where you're holding it in your fingers. And you were weaving here next to your hand. If you would have moved your rat tail comb up, slid it up towards the base of her head, you would have had a wider section, more expanded hair to choose from, and you could pick up with more accuracy if you were picking up here versus down here, right? So, and that means you can move both your hands up and just be like, here's her head, here's her base, here's her root, here's what's in my finger, and I'm gonna pick up closer to the root because the section is expanded and not condensed, which means I have more control and accuracy. That's what I would have done. I just noticed that you were picking up here, but honestly, like that's the 4 to 6% shift we're talking about. Like really, like how detailed do we want to get? Do we want to go all the way? Because we will. Yeah, I do actually. Thanks.
And then I don't know. Okay, I did want to ask you this, but I was gonna wait till after. But since we're
Let's talk about it.
So had I with the red, had I put it all the way, just covered her hair, it wouldn't have done anything to the already colored, right?
No, all it would do is give it an iridescent glow, which is what she wanted anyways.
Yeah.
She would have been like putting a red cellophane over a black piece of paper.
Yeah. So
you know.
The only thing is there was two spots total on the head, but that I missed a little bit of red, and I think I wasn't 100%. I had in my mind I knew it wouldn't turn red, but I think I was second guessing like I always do, so I didn't fully cover her hair.
So there's accuracy and then there's also efficiency. Let's talk about efficiency, right? Like Brittany or I at that point, we knew that she already had a permanent on her base. It was 2 to 3 levels darker than her target red. I had lifted her base was a 3. I lifted her to a 6, 7. I'm going to take this red that lives at a 5-6, and I'm going to cover the 6-7. I'm not going to be picking out the 3. I'm not going to be painting around the 3. There's no reason to, especially if the 3, she already wanted the cherry vibe, right? At that point, I'm just taking large horizontal sections. I'm painting a basic color, pulling it through, setting it down, taking another large slice, painting everything, pulling it through, making sure saturation is good, setting it down, right? We're not vertically brushing on every single highlight.
I did that, but I still put red on top of the permanent, but I focused mainly on the lighter piece. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's fine too, because you preserve color too. If we're not going to want to waste color product. Also, the other option, if it was a tad more gelatinous or runny, I could have even applied it at the bowl and just sloshed it. I love the slosh word. They're like, people like stylists are like, how do you want to apply it? I'm like, sloshing method actually is very technical. Just get it. That's what you want to do. The only thing you want to be cautious of if you're using the sloshing method is it's a red direct dye. It's going to stain the shit out of her scalp, right? Especially on the part line and hairline. Like maybe I'd slosh through quadrants 2 and 3 and then a little bit off the scalp with quadrant 1 and 2. If that's a time thing, yeah, I'm going to get it on in 3 minutes, right? If I'm taking horizontal sections painting, that's a 20-minute application now, right? Where is accuracy and where is efficiency? What do we need most at this point? Is she running late? We're sloshing. And you're keeping it off the part line and the hairline, right? If we have the 20 minutes and we're like, let's go for accuracy, we're going to sit her at the chair. We're going to double drape her up. We're going to take horizontal sections at a time. We're going to paint, sweep. You can detail with a vertical brush placement if you need to, and keep it off the scalp, okay? But so these are decisions that you start making as an experienced stylist, knowing what all your options are, knowing the resources that you have, including time, product, volume of product. If we didn't have 16 reds and magentas back there and she only had 2.5 tubes, I'd be like, get her in the chair and you're vertically applying tint to every single one of those highlights because you don't have enough hair product to slosh right now, right? Like these are decisions we just have to make. I'm just saying, in theory, right? If we didn't have enough.
There'll be situations where it's like that.
It is.
Like, oh, I
have a half a tube of color and she's got a baseball of hair.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out how to make it work.
So she's going to sit her ass down and I'm going to pick out, and I'm going to start at the front top and I'm going to make sure this all gets covered, right? All the ends get covered. And we're going to like one at a time paint every highlight because we have a half a tube of direct dye right now. So that or go to Cosmoprof, you know. All right, guys, how do you feel about this review? So far, we feel good. It's 10:30, so that was about an hour. I'm sorry that I'm just review, because this is the foundation of knowledge that we use to talk the same language. So from right now, I want you guys to go, let's go over this. Fill in the blank group review form. Oh, okay, you know what I just realized? Miss Amariza?
Yes.
Oh wait, is this in a Google? Is this in a Google sheet? Okay. I was like, wait, how are they going to fill this out? Amariza's amazing. Amariza, we love you. Ah! Okay. So we're going to go to this group review form. I want you guys to get each of you to get your email, your name in here. And then we'll go through this together. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Attendance.
Oh, can you guys drop your attendance too?
Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, it's only going to let me edit the form. I can't actually take the quiz. I'll let you guys take the quiz then.
You know, your editor.
I know. That's why it won't let me take the quiz. That's fine. I created the quiz. And you know what's funny? It's not as easy as being like, oh, ChatGPT, because I legit will be like, chat, make me a quiz out of this information, and then I'll go back and I'll be like, chat, are you dumb? Like, this is not the answer here. So, or it'll produce really dumb questions that I'm like, how did you get that? So like, there is editing obviously involved, but.
I already answered like the first 4 questions.
Did you?
Oh, me too. I'm almost done.
Oh, you're already done? Wait. Who wants to go through this together?
I think we should all do it separately and then go through it.
Well, you're gonna have your own separate quiz.
Fine.
Who?
I forgot my password.
It's with a capital J. Jessica does hair. 1, 2, 3 exclamation point.
Oh, that's
Now we
right. I
all
was like
know.
trying to do my own password.
Mhm.
I was like, what password did I do? Okay, wait.
And this is why I use the same password.
Wait, you said capital J,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Jessica
Jessica does hair.
does hair. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 exclamation point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys want to go through it together, or you think you got it? I'm happy to go through it together as a way to talk it out for you guys. Okay, so the innermost layer of the hair shaft is called, not Brittany. The blank is the primary area where color is deposited, not Allie.
Cortex.
Yes, the outermost layer of hair that controls the shine, and the porosity is the
Cuticle.
what is also known as the cell membrane complex.
K-layer.
Okay, a healthy K layer results in better color.
Tension.
You guys, let them have a chance.
Okay, fine.
Nobody, at this point, you're not allowed. We're done here.
Pick me. Pick me.
Absolutely
I know
not
the
pick me,
answer.
girls. Why don't you help your team out by like, you can do this.
Okay, you guys got this. Let's do it.
Yes.
Gosh, Sammy, I'm
At
sorry.
least give them a chance.
That means I can be green?
Oh my goodness. Can I be green now? Okay. Highly porous hair may overabsorb. Who said that? Francis! Oh, and Alexis. Okay. The first step in the repair sequence is keratin. Oh, that's remover process. Yes. The second step in the repair sequence involves lipid, which is another word for fat. The final step in the repair sequence is restoring moisture for hydration. Yeah. Permanent colors contain. You're not allowed. I don't think I've heard anything from Sam, this Sam right here, or either Sam. Okay, Sam's, y'all are on a team now. The couch is eliminated. We all are so happy for you guys. Good job. You made it to the next level. Okay, so permanent color is capable of both what? Yes. Okay. Demi-permanent color is considered. Holland answered a question. Yes. Semi-permanent does not require a. Yep. Semi-permanent sits on or near the. Yes. In the color number 8.23, number 8 represents what?
I'm sorry. I'm learning too.
Give other people a chance. Okay. There's no I in team, all right, Allie?
M and an E.
There's an M and an E. All right. The first number after the decimal represents how much of the tone? Francis, tell me. I know you know.
What?
The
How much percentage?
first number after the decimal represents how much of the tone? 50. The second number represents how much of the tone? How much, Francis? Tell me. Francis, stay with me. The second number after the decimal.
30.
Yes. See, she got it. Okay. Toning is considered a what type of shift in tone? If it's not vertical, then it's lateral.
Horizontal.
Or that. Wrong word, but same concept.
I said it 4 times, Brittany.
Okay.
She can't help herself.
One function of toning is to what unwanted tones? Neutralize. Was that Holland? It's Sam. Okay. Permanent color penetrates deepest into the. Oh my God, she whispered it. Say it louder, Holland. Cortex. The more porous the hair, the what penetration of demi and semi? Yes, deeper with confidence. Developer provides what to activate dye molecules? Who said that? You did. You're correct.
I got that one wrong.
What would developer provide?
I don't know.
I want you guys to understand that developer is literally liquid oxygen. That's all it is. Liquid oxygen. It's hydrogen peroxide, obviously. You guys know that. But it is an oxygenating agent. Ammonia helps by raising the what of the hair?
You skipped one.
Oh, sorry. Oxidation causes the what of dye molecule precursors into larger molecules. What is the fancy word that we were talking? What? It is polymerization, exactly. Or you could have even used causes the covalent bonds. Yeah. To connect of the dye precursors. But I think it is polymerization. Ammonia helps by raising the what of the hair? Yes. Artificial color removers work by breaking what type of bonds? Huh? Covalent. She's like, it's either polymer or covalent. So covalent bond is an action. Polymer is a, what is it? It's not a liquid, it's a mass. So covalent is an action and a polymer is a thing, what it becomes, right? The polymerization process happens through the covalent bonds.
What's the last one then?
Covalent.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 23 was polymerization. Good job, guys. Okay. Okay, now you have a quiz. Do you guys want to take the quiz later? Do you want to take a little break? Let's take the quiz, and then we'll move on to different concepts.
What quiz?
Huh?
The quiz we just did?
That was a review. It's not the actual quiz. So, Sam, part of the intern educational program that you're moving through, this is literally like week by week what you would be learning if you joined us as an intern later, because I am using this to re-record all of the weeks. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're not falling behind, I promise you, as long as you're coming to class. You are getting it all. Okay, you're good?
Yeah, but like, why just me? Why not Holland too?
Well, Holland as well, but I know that you have been more concerned and more diligent in making sure that you are on track with your weeks. Because you don't want to get to end of week 10 and been like, I did all my blowouts, I showed up for all my shifts, and I can't graduate because I didn't finish my education because it wasn't given to me. No, this is literally it. One of the reasons that I shifted our curriculum is because I was looking back at these videos that we have week by week as I have them aligned, and I was like, I got to re-record this. Like, I have to re-record it. Like, I'm not going to issue this to them. Like, it's based off of how we've evolved and the accuracy that we have now, it'd be like 90% accurate. Do you get what I'm saying? So I wanted to present the information in a better translation, so that way it was just more accurate. And now I like have the actual SOPs that line up with these now videos that we're making. So I don't want you to stress about that.
No, it's just 'cause, like, the paper that you gave me, it was like, it had it all.
It was organized different, huh?
And yeah, and like the first week we had like the soft curls look, and so I was just kind of expecting that for all of the little looks throughout the time.
Yes.
I haven't gotten any of those.
Okay, well, I'll give you more looks for sure. I'll give you look tutorials if that's what you feel like you're missing. That's easy. For me, when I was a few weeks ago going through, and Anne-Marie's knows this, organizing the information, when we originally, okay, so before you came, there was just a career plan, and it was all these videos, all these required fundamental knowledge understandings. It wasn't really, it was like grouped by category of like, this is what this information type is, this is what this information type is. But we never really had a week by week. Okay, so week 1, we want you to know this. Week 2, we want you to know this. Do you get what I'm saying? And so we organized it, and I was like, I think this makes sense. And then once I actually started putting in the videos and creating those weeks together, I was like, week 1 would be like a small work, just for example, small workload. Week 3 would be massive workload. You'd be like 6 hours of videos. Do you get what I'm saying? And so me just categorizing it by type of understanding, it just didn't make sense like that. I'm like, why week 6 do we have this much work, and week 8 we have this much work, you know? And then how do we get it to marry one another so that way you're building on that foundational education, so that way your skill sets as you go through the weeks, you're like building on understanding. You're not learning new concepts every single week, or concepts that are not related to the last few weeks, and we're not skipping concepts, right? So this was another thing that Anne-Marie's and I were looking into, like, well, me mostly, but I was telling her, I'm like, look, I had to reorganize. I actually took week 1, I split it into 2 weeks, and then I made week 2 into week 3, and week 3 into week 4, and week 4 into week 5, and week 5 into week 6, and so on and so forth. And then I ended up having to flex information of like, okay, so there's about 2 hours of work each week, like of either videos to watch or tasks to complete, stuff like that. So, but yeah, specifically talking to you because I know that you're being very diligent and making sure you're like checking all your boxes and you're doing it. Outstanding. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you want looks, I can give you looks. Easy. I'm actually not concerned about your styling. I've been watching you finish your blowouts, and I'm very impressed. Yeah. But I know we wanted to do a styling class, which is where I was going to pull those looks from, was simply styling. And we were actually talking about that before. We were like, oh, color theory, let's do a styling class, right? And then we had that last week where we had all that bridal party come in, and we were like, oh, now we want.
One in April, and I think if we can swing it, we should.
What's the date in April? Oh, you said you couldn't get a hold of him, huh?
There's no number, no name or anything on the booking. It's all just like person, whoever. So I don't know.
Did you check everyone's?
I think so.
Do we know the date?
I think it's like the 17th.
I think the 17th. It's a Friday.
Yeah, it's the 17th, and oh, I have her stuff.
What is it?
It's the girl who booked it is Rebecca. Her number is a 661 number.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but they're all paid, but they're all at 11. So I have 2 at 11. Alexis has 2 at 11. Brittany has 1 at 11. Jillian and Francis both have 1 at 11. And so does Sandy.
Okay.
But then I saw a note that they have to be out by 1, so I feel like I might have to give one of mine to someone.
We're going to have to start them at 10 then.
Yeah, they're going to have to come in earlier.
Well, this is why we,
extra
yes,
handy.
so important we do. Okay, so I'll have Alexis reach out and do a consult because we need to figure out who needs makeup if they're doing makeup, because if, like, this is another reason we want to get McKenna in here, right? What type of styles they're looking for, because I think there's this massive misinterpretation with clients that are like, I just want a really simple, like just like pinned up half pinned up,
And then when you say simple,
right?
I don't even know what you mean.
Yes, you have no idea how unsimple this is.
Yeah. Actually, the ones that are most complicated looking, or most simple looking, are like the most complicated.
Because it needs to look effortless, like it's just living there in existence.
Also, our question, and I think this, everyone kind of has this question. I know Francis probably does. When they're paying for a blowout, is that including like if they like ask for girls, or is that the also?
I
Do we
add
add the
that, I
22? Okay.
I mean, that's really up to you. It's your money,
Yeah.
you know. But if you want to add on the iron work, just be like, yeah, it'll be. If, in all honesty, if I'm like, if I do a blowout and I'm like, this blowout looks great, and she wants me to curl it, I'm kind of resentful about it, and I'm going to charge her.
This is like, well, I mean, it's gonna take me more time. You would have been done right now, so
Yeah,
it's worth the extra.
absolutely.
20.
We were just because last time when remember they came in and she was like, well, there's not ironwork added to it, so that's why I was curious.
That's something I usually go over with them in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Right.
Because some of them just want to blow out and they just want to.
And that's the thing, they all came in wanting blowouts and all left with updos.
Oh,
All three.
yeah. See, that's different.
Yeah, they wanted like full blowouts. Yeah, or I'm sorry, full updos. And so I was like running around. Thank God my client canceled, but I was running around. I did 3 updos in like an hour. And I'm like, what? I don't even like updos. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Get her done. But there's a massive market there, especially because we rank so high on Google, of a business that we've been turning away. And we rank high on Google, and people just assume salon, bridal styling, and makeup, right? So we aren't going to reject that part of the demand. We just have to incorporate it now into our identity. It's not who we were, but it's where we're going, and that's what we're going to do, right? So I like the idea of bringing on a makeup stylist, and we have Alexis who also does makeup. With 2 stylists that do makeup, I think that's sufficient. And then also us all being proficient in styling, different styling looks, very important. And then once we feel proficient in styling, here's the thing. You guys, now that you know everything about hair anatomy and physiology, that sets you up to understand styling. Because when I took a pro styling course, they talked incessantly about texture and finish. What is the finish? The finish is not the end result in the way it looks. The finish is what is the cuticle doing when you're done. Is it blown out? Is it structured, meaning like is it crimped, or is it been heat pressed or thermal styled to hold a shape? Is it sleek and smooth? What have we done to the texture and the finish of the hair? You can see finish in hair in a photo like crazy. You can see the finish of the hair. Like you can see whether that needs a moisture mask or whether it needs a bond builder, because it reflects light differently. So this kind of stuff, even though we're like, oh, this is just, hair colorist theory or whatever, it sets you up for understanding how to be a better hair stylist, hairdresser, how to dress the hair. When you assist me, you're like, what products do you want me to put in her? I'm going to say, I want you to dress her with the clothes she's wearing, but hair, right? We want you to dress her with what? And then we start talking, in my mind, I start talking about the innermost cortex of the hair working my way out, right? We talk protein, we talk lipids, then we talk hydration, right? Like lipids, protein, hydration. I'm sorry, protein, lipids, hydration. So Fortify is a protein spray that we can put in the hair if it's like really fucked up. And then we're gonna move into that lipid layer, right? Where we're like adding fats. We're putting a leave-in hydration. We're putting in a beautifying serum. We're putting in Elixir 1. Elixir 1 has protein and fat in it. right? So now we're repairing the hair from the inside out, but from a dressing standpoint. And this is just wet. This is how we style and finish the hair. So then we get the lipid fats, right? And then we're moving to the cuticle. Then what I'm going to say, oh, color locking system, right? Sculpture, illuminant. We're talking aloe, squalene. Aloe is going to fill in that cuticle and make it soft. Squalene is going to seal it down because it's skin of an olive. It's UV resistant. It's going to give it shine. Once we have the protein, the lipid, and the cuticle now addressed, the hydration, we are now going to use a finishing product. A finishing product is a styling product. Formation. These are the concepts that I'm teaching you guys of how to be the best hairstylist possible. We don't just throw shit on the hair because we think that she's dry, or we don't throw shit on the hair because we think that we want her to have volume. Why are you doing that? I want you to be able to articulate at what point are you putting on what styling or finishing product and why. But this set you up for that, right? So we all understand how foundational education is important. This is why we learn this in week 3 and 4. That's what we've recorded. Last week was week 3. This week is week 4. But beyond that, I want to know what questions you guys, what do you want to move into as far as hair colorist theory is concerned? Or do you guys want to, now that we understand hair anatomy and physiology, do we want to go into styling? Or do we want to continue with formulation theory? Because formulation theory is so simple. Like I introduced you into the ratios, color ratios, right? You guys, like, once we start pondering these things, we can almost figure anything out. But also then there's hair styling. We have hair anatomy, physiology. How do we get the hair to style and finish the way we want it to? What would you like to learn? What do you guys have questions on? I personally think we should go into hairstyling because we're coming up on wedding season and there's a demand for that and we can fill your books for it.
Well, I also wanted to learn how to style like the hair texture that's in between wavy and curly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did a haircut and her hair wasn't really curly, it was kind of wavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the haircut came out really good, but I wasn't that great at styling it.
Okay. So texture between curly and wavy, wants to know how to finish and style something like that. The first thing I'm going to ask is density. How dense is she?
She wasn't that dense.
She wasn't that dense. And what did her hair feel like in your fingertips?
It wasn't very fine.
Okay, so you can have fine porous, you can have coarse smooth, or not coarse smooth, you could have thick but smooth, right? Like these are all tactile words that we need to understand how to not only see with our eyes but feel with our fingertips. So as a hairstylist, when it comes to styling and finish, you're not only as good as you can see, but you're only as good as you can feel, right? So like when I'm teaching, a lot of times I'm like, come feel this, come feel this, come feel this, because it feels different. As soon as you put your hands in the hair, you're like, your brain's already like, okay, I'm putting together the matrix of hair density, the fabric, the texture, the porosity, right? And I'm building together all of these points of data to be like, okay, she lands here. Okay, she's here, and now I want to get her to here, right? So if she's coarse and porous, how do I get her to medium and smooth, right? Like, how do I do that? Or if she's fine and limp, how do I get her to medium and, what's the word? Not coarse, but a rougher cuticle, right? Like how do I get her to, how do I rough that cuticle and get her more feeling like medium density? How do I do these things based off of what I'm feeling, right? And what products do I add in that matrix to get me to that end result, right? If we're always going to be starting in the center of the cortex, moving our way into the K layer and then the cuticle, right? Making sure all those boxes are checked, then what styling and finishing product am I going to use to get her from, maybe she is medium density, maybe I want her to feel like smooth and fine, you know? Is that giving you, opening up a thought process for you to understand? Yes. It's really just a challenge of getting you from A to B. How are you getting from A to B? You know, sometimes people who are fine fabric with a compact cuticle are like, I don't even color my hair. I don't need color in my hair, but I'm I have to wash my hair every single day because I get so oily. I have no volume. I have no responsiveness in my look or texture. Immediately I'm thinking, okay, what texture service can I do to give her a roughed cuticle without changing her color or her level, and in order to create a fine or limp fabric that is now more coarse and roughed and has more of like a medium plump texture to it, what could I do? Yes, yes. You could put a clear on her. You could do a clear gloss. You could do a clear demi. I don't know that I'd do a clear permanent because it has ammonia in it. You might start shifting natural, right? But these are things that you can do to start getting her from, she's an